Okay, so I have shared this link with you guys where you can kind of download the code. And now thing is that let's kind of execute that on the host. And let's see. The first thing what we need to do is that we need to be a root privileged user. Okay, then only kind of we can execute that. And right now, let's say if I do nmap, I want to see what all ports are open on my host. If I do nmap and let's see, I do a scanning of my local host IP address. So it says that apt, I need to install the map, the, the scanner. Okay. So just give me 1 second. So you can also even, if it is not installed, you can install that using apt install nmap, and it will install the nmap tool. And what this nmap tool does is that it will tell you that, okay, if you scan any IP address, for example, it will tell you what are the open ports in that IP address. And it has a lot of other things too. Let's say, for example, it can also tell you, okay, maybe it will able to figure out what kind of services or softwares are running behind that port, behind that open port. Okay. So now this nmap has been installed. What I will do is that I will try to scan my own system, like if there are any open ports in that. And it says that all basically all different kind of ports are actually closed. There's no open ports. So what I will do is now, let's say I start a server, for example. I start a server. So I've already told that how you guys can start a server. You just say Python http dot server. Okay. And it will start a server. So by default, it will start that on 8,000 port number. Okay. So let's see if nmap can kind of figure that out. Yeah. So when I executed this nmap, it was able to figure out that when it scanned, it told me that, okay, 8,000 port number is actually open, and the service behind that is an HTTP. So it was able to do that. Similarly, let's say I am also, yeah, go on.
Sir, your screen is not visible, sir.
Oh, okay. Okay. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Letting me know. Okay. So what I mean is that I hope now my screen is visible. Okay. And now let's say, so what I mean is that I have actually shared you a link from where you can download that code that will help you in kind of implementing a port scanner on your own. Okay. And you can follow along using that code. Okay. So now the thing is that there is a tool called as nmap, which actually does what you can do is that you can scan any website and figure out what are the open ports in that website by which you can interact. Okay. So if I want to kind of scan my own laptop, I need to give the local host IP address. And when I execute that, it will tell me that all the ports are like closed. There is no open ports in my system. Okay. Now, if on a different tab, let's say I start the HTTP server. Okay. So Python, the command is Python 3-m HTTP server, which if you execute right now, it will run a HTTP server on, let's say, port number 8,000. Okay. And let's say I start another HTTP server this time, Python 3-m HTTP dot server. And this time our port number 8080. Okay. And let's say this is also running. So there are two hosts that is running. The two HTTP servers is running, one on 8,000 port number, one on port 8080. Now this time if I execute nmap 127.0.0.1, it will tell me that these two ports are open, 8,000 and 8020. So before it was telling me that all the ports are closed. Now it is telling me that there are two ports open, which are 8080 and 8,000. Now thing is that, guys, nmap, what we will try to do is that we'll try to implement our own nmap. Okay. And we'll try to see like how the nmap works and how we can kind of maybe if we're able to kind of code our own nmap, what we can do is that we can add a little bit more, like some extra functionality which even like nmap is not providing. Okay. So we'll try to kind of see like how we can implement that on our own. Okay. So now what we'll do is that before kind of implementing that, let's see like what kind of packet does get sent out by the Nmap tool when we do some kind of scanning. So when I do this scanning, okay, let me just see. Go to capture options over here, and I'll say localhost, and I'll start this one. So now it is capturing on localhost. Let me see if it works. Okay, so now you see multiple packets were sent out. Okay, so what you see is that the Nmap actually, because it is running on my whole own host itself and it is scanning the same website. So what it is doing is that with the default parameter, it is actually sending out a SYN packet, right? It is actually sending out a SYN packet over different port numbers. So let me see that, okay, it first sent out a SYN packet on port number 5900, for an example. It sent out a SYN, and because that port number was closed, it actually got another packet which was RST-ACK packet, which means that that port number is actually closed. Okay, if the system send out a packet which says RST acknowledgement, that means that port is not open. Then if you see the same using the same source port number, it actually sent out, it was scanning the port number 21. Again, we see that, okay, SYN packet was sent, but later what we see is that again there was a RST acknowledgement packet. That means that port number is not open. Now if we start going up, going down, so you can see that, okay, that Nmap actually scanned multiple websites, multiple known port number, okay, for an example, but most of them actually were like not open. Okay, now let's see like if we can figure out the port number 8080. Okay, so let me just go to that, or what we do that is that in the destination port we just say apply filter, and here what we do is that what we say is that 8080, for example. Okay, and now you see that, okay, a SYN packet was actually sent out. Okay, a SYN packet was actually sent out from the Nmap to port number 8080. A SYN packet was sent out. Okay, and now thing is that, let me see, just give me 1 second. If this packet was sent out, a response was received from 53, the same port number. So what we'll do is that apply is filtered, selected, and here source port we will give it as 8080. Okay, let's see. So here if you see, a SYN acknowledgement packet was sent out. It is not something RST acknowledgement, it is SYN acknowledgement. Okay, so this is actually the, what you say, when we were understanding about the three-way handshake, this is the second part of that handshake, where the SYN packet was first sent out by the Nmap, and then the Nmap received SYN acknowledgement packet. So this is what the Nmap was able to kind of understand. Okay, and it told us that, okay, the port number 8080 is open. Similarly, for 8000 port number, it is telling that, okay, SYN acknowledgement packet was actually sent. But if we see the port number 21, it says that RST acknowledgement. That means that port number was not opened. Okay, so now I hope you got an idea that how Nmap works, in the background, and how we can also see that thing in action using the Wireshark tool, right? So now what we will do is that, in the similar manner how Nmap works, what we will do is that we'll write our own code to kind of achieve the similar functionality without using Nmap. Okay, so now we will kind of go through the code. So give me 1 second. So I will first kind of just save this file somewhere. Let's start P1. Okay, so this is the code. And now the thing is that we will run that one by one. So it will give me 1 second. And we'll first become the root user. And now how will we kind of implementing the Nmap on our own? So this is something kind of we'll kind of look at today. Okay. So the first thing that we will do is definitely the similar module that